Okay, I have a question. Do you think it's helpful when a buyer is writing, I call them a love letter, to the listing, like to the seller? Do you think that helps?
At the end of the day, I think money speaks louder than words. So
Yeah.
I would agree. I have been like in the heat of it when we're getting lots of offers and you're having like 10 offers come in.
Are they reading all the letters?
Yeah, it depends on client.
Yeah, true.
Is this grandma selling her house and her children are all there with her reviewing and they're all sentimental and they want a sweet young family moving in and wanting the house like they did? Yes, carries more weight for sure. I have seen people take lower prices in those circumstances.
For sure.
Substantially lower? No.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to that offer review, if we are looking at 2 offers
And they're close.
They're close and they like one more than the other, they'll go with that one. I've also seen it where the client instructed me to counter the people with the letter because they liked them more. So it did definitely give them a leg up in that circumstance.
Yeah.
Where I'll say it never works is if it's a generic letter. Like if I can tell you've attached this to like
Chat GPT, you just changed the address or something.
We're Chad and Stephanie and we love your house. We can see ourselves raising a family here.
Yeah.
Love Chad and no. It has to be
From the
very
heart.
specific. Like say, I love the bay window. I could see our pets or something. Maybe not necessarily pets, but like, you know, watching the street from there or stuff like that. Specific to the house, specific to the client.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree. Like clients ask me all the time and it's like, you're one of 20. Like, I mean, it's, go ahead. I mean, you can, it's always just an added option. But I mean, if you're writing a letter and writing 20 under list price, like don't write a letter. It just, like your terms on the contract are going to matter a lot more than your letter will. Like it's really going to come down to that. It's like you guys said, if it's close, sure, that might be the thing that pushes you over, or it might be the thing that enamors the sellers to you.
Right.
But you got to make sure your offer lines up with the rest of
For
it.
sure. Yeah, it's not going to get you a $10,000 discount.
No.
I shouldn't say that. It depends on price point. If it was $1 million, maybe, right? But no.
It's also like
Dependent on seller too, I think. Like when I walk into a house, like there's been instances where I walk into the house and let's say like, okay, there's a PDS, they've been here for 62 years and they have all, like you can tell that it's like a family, well-maintained, we've loved it.
Yeah.
I say, okay, maybe we're writing a letter here. I've also had clients ask me like, do you think I should write a letter here? And it's like, investment property, no PDS. It's like, it's not going to help.
Should we write a letter? No. No, you should write a check.
I actually had clients before.
Big number.
I had clients talk themselves out of a letter. He wanted to write a letter and she was like, they were buying like a family home in like a family neighborhood, and you could tell the owner of that home was like a cool, like artistic, like, you know what I mean? Not this, she literally looked at her husband and said, I think if we wrote her a letter, she would think we're losers. And I was like, no, like if you want to, I think in this case, is it really gonna help you? Probably not. But if you want to write the letter, write the letter.
It hits different personalities differently, right? Like some people appreciate it and others just want to see number.
For sure.
Yeah.
And like our job too, as realtors, when we're presenting offers to our clients, is to try and get them the best terms. So sometimes that means, like I've had that conversation often with, I have it every time. This one had a personal letter written with it. Do you want to review it before we review the offer? Or are you worried that's going to skew you to make a decision you wouldn't normally make, right? Like, and some people do. I've had clients say, no, I don't want to see any letters. I've had clients say, let's decide first and then I want to review at the end. But I'm always like, oh gosh, what if something really pulls them in that letter? But You want to keep them as objective as you possibly can too when they're reviewing, but most people do want to review those letters.
And I think regardless, like most people appreciate them, even if you didn't get the house, they often will be like, thank your client for the letter and really touch them. At the end of the day, it just came down to money, right? So
For sure.
Yeah. There's also lots of, like, I mean, sometimes you see an offer that is like, every condition under the sun, the numbers like super wild, and then it comes with a letter and you're like, this isn't charity, I'm sorry, but like we're not donating the house. It's
their life too, and they gotta
for sure.
do what's best for them.
Yeah, it's funny when you're on the other end of it and you see all the other offers, right? Because like, you know, like you say, sometimes it makes perfect sense. If you've had these owners forever, they love the house, they want a young family to come in, or they want, you know, someone who's been in the area, like all these little kind of characteristics. But sometimes you just look at it and you're like, hey, someone should have told you to work on your offer before you worked on that letter. Like, spend more time thinking about this than you did on that.
Sometimes I encourage them to write a letter if we've pre-inspected and slip it in there that they've pre-inspected, because it's like,
for sure,
we didn't pre-inspect.
We've invested in your house already. Yeah,
for sure,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I agree with you. I think that it's just, again, it comes down to like the tool in the arsenal, right? You have to know what you're going up against. You have to know, like you said, if it's an investor, it's not going to help you. These people have been here for a year. It was a $300 flip or 300 grand flip that is now a 600 grand. Like, don't do it. Like, you know,
but if it's the granny that's been in the home for 50 years, it's going to pull on her heartstrings more.
Yeah, definitely know your audience. I'd say before and like Jen said, like it has to be like heartfelt. It can't just be like
generic.
Our family would love to live in your house, like we'd love to live in every other house we've offered on. Like it has to be, it has to make sense. And it just, for some clients too, just aren't those type of people. Like they just don't want to like spill their guts to try and get a house, right? So it's like, you got to do what feels right for you. If it makes sense, great. And if it works, awesome.
Yeah, if it feels organic.
And it also, I will say too, is like when you're the seller's agent and they do pick an offer that is like that, like I find that the sellers feel much more comfortable like giving their house to this person who is like,
and knowing they're gonna love it and grow their family or make memories.
They're not for sure. Like you're not like, what's gonna happen on possession day and what's, you know, like I feel like they're a lot more comfortable with the process when they can like, you know,
it's a
tie
good
it to
family
a family and
tie it to kind of
it's
tie it to a story instead of
it's people, not just names on a contract, right? So it's I feel like those are always,
it a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and we know that matters to people too. Like even when you're not getting the letters, like I have those sellers that are like, do they have kids? Do they? And it's like, okay, you want to know.
It's comforting knowing it's going to someone who appreciates the home, wants to grow their family or make memories in it, and
I will say, I've heard like other agents say don't do them because like it can reveal too much personal information. I personally have never seen it work against somebody.
No.
Yeah, for sure.
Even the generic ones, it's just, it's not viewed as any worth to it. They're like, oh nice, they wrote us a letter if it's super generic, but I haven't seen it ever actually work against somebody in this situation, in my opinion. But some agents are very against letting their clients submit one. So,